element of information that is difficult to falsify, and that differentiates resource types. So certainly, as you're here getting your master's degree, you're learning something very valuable, and you're participating in a socially valuable endeavor. The other thing you are is you're getting a signal. When you give this master's degree to an employer, it will say, oh, you're the kind of person who can figure out what classes to take, who will get up in the morning and show up for classes and finish your work by deadline, and you have the intellectual capacity to master this material. It's a signal to your employer. That's what straight A's are. They're a signal that says, I'll go that extra mile that's required every time. Even in those classes where they were 7 in the morning and I had to show up every day. It's a signal. The other thing you can do is try to increase the cost of fraud for the fraudster, right? Not for the bank. There's a lot of successful increase in cost of fraud for the bank in identity theft. It's not something I'm advocating here. And you can do that by changing the authentication mechanisms. You can do that by increasing the difficulty of obtaining credit. But there's been a tremendous amount of hostility to that. People like easy credit. You can do identity confirmation. Identity confirmation is often a solution to this. Well, signaling right now is pretty bad. This means that they follow the Child's Online Privacy Act. This means, hey, we're not felons. I'm so proud. This means they are a business in good standing with the Better Business Bureau. The one above it says you're a business in good standing with the Better Business Bureau, and you follow the European Directive on Data Protection. You have those requirements. This is just, I don't know, these are kind of redundant. This one, the trustee means that you follow your own privacy statement. You might notice that Amazon has a trustee seal. Amazon's privacy policy is you have no privacy, get used to it. It's ours, and it's staying ours. Get over it, okay? But they follow that privacy policy, so they have the seal. I really like this one. I got this off a shopping site, and as far as I can tell, it doesn't mean anything, but it looks really good. It's very confidence-inspiring. So I don't think these are particularly useful because they're not economic signals, because economic signals are difficult to falsify. Those are very easy. In fact, in every one of those cases, like if you click here, instead of looking at the website, so the website, it goes, HTTP request, and you get information about where you were directed from. These Better Business Bureau and trustee look at the string that is sent to them by the website that you're clicking to verify on. So you can copy the site, you copy the little piece of code to your website, and it says, in that other site, it would say, is SunTrust checking good? Oh yes, SunTrust checking is good. But what the user sees is this website that claims to be SunTrust checking good. See the difference? It doesn't check the URL from, it checks what's in the call to the site. Okay. So I say it's, this kind of seal is more useful, at least, they're cuddlier. Right. Identity confirmation, well, we have identity confirmation. It turns out VeriSign protects you from anybody's money they won't take. Anybody that, that won't give them money, you're safe, right? This is not a very good identity mechanism, really. And the other thing is uniqueness. There's this thing called the Joe Wilson problem, which predates Valerie Plame's exposure as a covert agent. It turns out there are two guys named Joe Q. Wilson, who work for Intel. And one of them works with Ellison, Carl Ellison, one of the inventors of PKI, they constantly get each other's email. They're Joe Q. Wilson at Intel, right? How do you resolve that? How do you make it so that when I look up my long-lost cousin, Joe Wilson, who I finally saw at the reunion that I hadn't attended forever, I remember he's Joe Wilson at Intel, right? It's a very specific Joe Wilson. But and in a physical environment, I would not have a problem telling the two Joe Wilsons apart. In the social network, they're very distinct. But in terms of name and identity, we have a lot of namespaces, right? I mean, I have in my wallet this thing that says I can drive. It's also used to say I can have a job and I'm an American citizen, right? You can show it and say, well, I can get a job. Well, you know what? You don't have to be a citizen to get a driver's license. And no Department of Motor Vehicles wants you to have to be a citizen to get a driver's license because they prefer that all the people that are driving and they don't have legal residency have taken a driver's safety course and have insurance, right? So the namespace has got to fit with the identity. There's a namespace in which I'm Jean Camp that's the professor. I'm the professor, right? I know a tremendous amount about economics of information security. As soon as I leave here, I'm getting in my car and I'm roaring home to be the mom, right? These are very different roles. I have all the same identifiers. There's no single source of legitimate trust. So you're going to say, all right, trust the tax, trust the Social Security, right? Who are we going to trust? Wait, no, I don't trust the government. And in fact, shouldn't the government tell me if Walmart is a good place to buy shoes? Should it tell me if I should go buy my shoes at Prada? Do people who shop at Prada, you guys know what Prada is, right? Okay. Do they want to go to Walmart for shoes? Is an identity confirmation system that says good place to shop going to, it's no, not in any kind of economic context we can imagine. So there's just nothing. Oh. All right. I'd just like to say that this is Microsoft's fault. Because it is. Because I put it up and I looked to see if the images were there. I said, oh, good. Usually Microsoft does some strange thing when I transfer Microsoft from the Macintosh to Microsoft to the Microsoft OS. One time it changed all my bullets to little hands. All right. But the point is that we had a big trust challenge on the internet, right? So you can hear, I'm sure you've heard people say, well, you know, back when I was on the internet, we didn't have all that. You could trust people. And depending on how old they were, that was before 1984, 1987, or 1991 when AOL joined the internet, after which we all agreed that it was not a trusted environment. The big challenge was enabling monetary flows. SSL did that. It enabled monetary flows. There we go. Our second trust challenge is providing meaningful trust information. And where are we? We do provide we provide meaning-free trust information, right? And there are namespaces for specific trust assertions. You can go to websites or there and say, all right, I want to shop at Christian websites. I want to shop at gay positive websites. There's this thing called the pink pages that you can go to and look for like female plumbers in a zip code so that you're shopping pink. But it requires an understanding of the limits of the namespace, right? Okay, transitivity. You can drive. You have a driver's license. Can you vote? Probably. You can probably, as an illegal resident, go and vote in the U.S. if you have a driver's license. I know of personally several cases where this has happened. I know personally of documentation of cases where this has happened. I don't pick people up and take them